Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday yet again for another talk show on XPulZ. We have a very special guest today, and by very special, I mean very, very, very special. Not like Stifler or someone like that. You may know him as Jet, and if you know him as another name, I'd like to know why. But we have Jat from Wildcard. We will talk about who he is, why he is the way he is, and we will peel away those layers like an onion and find out who the real Jat is. And so let's bring on Jat right now. Welcome, Jat. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks a lot. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm very grateful. You're a very busy man. It's hard to get hands on you. Not like that, or the way Davnell was probably suggesting in chat.
Could be like that if you want to.
yeah. I guess we'll have to find out at Gamescom when I show up. All right, so let's start off and find out a little bit about who you are. Let's do level one. Who is Jat? Like we all know you. Yeah, level 1, right? Let's hope you pass.
There's no tutorial?
Yeah, exactly. You have no extra lives, so anything we craft here, if you die, you either have to go find it or whatever. Okay, so we all know you as Jad. Is that your real name?
I guess it's the name I mostly go by. It is a shortened version of my real name, but growing up in England, it was hard for my friends and my teachers to pronounce my Tamil name. And even for myself, so I just went with Jat. And then there was because Jat rhymes with a lot of stuff, you could actually get away with loads of things. I used to be really fat as a kid. I'm talking ginormous. So there was this time where I used to go around as Jat so fat as well, as my alias and stuff like that.
Is that before you grew? Were you just like a little round ball?
I mean, I don't know if I have a picture of this PC, but yeah, I was like a gerbil kind of looking kid.
Were you like Scoom? Because Scoom told us about how he had a huge head and he had to grow into his head.
Okay, let me tell you how big I was. Right, I was pretty active as a kid. I used to play a lot of sports, but I was still fat because my mom likes to feed me. And I was so large that we couldn't buy trousers for my school uniform. Because when you're in England, a lot of primary schools, elementary, they require pupils to wear uniforms. So I was wearing blazer, tie, jumper, and trousers, even though I was 8 years old, 7 years old. And I was so large that my mum would fly to Sri Lanka and have my uniform custom tailored by a Sri Lankan tailor and then bring me back to the UK. Yeah.
That must have cost a pretty penny.
She was flying to Sri Lanka anyway, so it's just yeah.
Got it. So you were a little round puffball.
Yeah. My weight actually changes quite a lot. I feel like these transition phases, it's kind of related to my health as well. So
fluctuates. Yeah, I think that's.
I think right now I'd say I'm on the bigger side of how I want to be, but not as.
You and me both. I put on winter weight.
Yeah.
And then I guess I wasn't satisfied, so I put on winter weight again. So I put on double winter weight. Yeah. And now I'm working on
at least you're
summer weight.
But I mean, if you wait a couple months and don't work on it, it's winter again. So
you
don't have to worry. Exactly.
At this point, I'm just being proactive. You
Exactly.
know, I'm ahead
Yeah.
of the curve. Okay, so you said you're from England.
Yeah.
Is that where you're born? Is that where you grew up
Yeah, I
most?
was born and bred in England. My parents are initially from Sri Lanka, but after they got married, they moved here, sorry. And me and my siblings were born in the UK.
Oh, how many siblings do you have?
I have an older brother and an older sister.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm the
did they pick
youngest.
on you much?
Um, it was like back and forth. We'd fight a lot. I was a pretty bratty kid, so I can understand why they did.
Yeah,
They,
were you like my younger brother where you got like them in trouble by like you'd like scream and it'd be like,
yeah,
"Oh, he hit me," and when like they did
yeah,
nothing.
yeah, but that, no, I mean, they did stuff to deserve it too, and sometimes they would hit me. But if they hit me, I would fight back. I actually remember one time I was fighting my brother, and I picked up this little heater, and I threw it at his back, and then like now that I think about it, I could have broken it, but it didn't break. It just like left this big scar on his back.
You and Caddy like just angel kids, huh?
I mean, they told me I was adopted.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I
for a
feel
long
like that
time.
is the natural thing to do from an older sibling because I'm pretty sure that like my younger sister, she said that to my younger brother, right? So she's
Yeah,
older than him, and I feel like she said that to him a lot. I feel like that's something natural for older kids to say
yeah.
to like
I
the younger
mean,
siblings.
we're pretty chill now. My older brother lives in Sydney, Australia. My sister's still in the UK, and like I have a good relationship with him now that I'm not a little kid and a brat anymore.
Well, that's
Like I
good.
was the baby, so I was going my way, and I think they kind of
Yeah, yeah.
disliked me because of that. Like
Oh, I could tell
I
you.
would
You
cause
resent the
most of the
little one.
trouble, and then they would get the blame for things I did. Like you're the older sibling, it's your responsibility to make sure he doesn't cause trouble,
Wow.
and like I would milk it, and I would
Of
cry for everything
course.
and get it basically. So I was a pretty bad kid.
I mean, I feel like you can't give that power to like the youngest sibling, right?
Yeah,
Like you're supposed to make sure he doesn't do this,
I
and you're
mean
just like holding it over their head the whole time.
I think it's pretty like it's when I think back on how as a child, I was like, damn, I'm very surprised that I got away with a lot of the stuff I did. And now when I have like cousins who are younger than me and I see them misbehaving, I don't give them the same treatment my parents gave me. I scold them and then make them behave. So,
Wow.
yeah, because they gotta
Well,
learn. I would have preferred learning earlier than I did. It took me a long time to realize that I was a dick.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to realize that when you're younger. You know what I'm saying? It can be difficult. Did your older brother or older sister get you into video games?
My older brother did unintentionally. Um, I used to like go and play outside in the streets, but when he started playing video games, it wasn't fair that I couldn't play video games. So I wanted to play because he was playing. I didn't really get them. My first console was a Dreamcast, and I used to play a lot of
Yeah, I
Sonic.
love Dreamcast.
And I didn't understand the concept of like saving games. So I got a Dreamcast and I kept playing. I think for like 2 weeks I just kept playing the first level and I was like wondering why. I was like, how can anyone beat this game? You just have to play non-stop. Because if you turn off your console, you start again. And then my brother told me it's because I need a memory card, and then he went and got one for me. And then
Oh,
after that, I was playing a
that's
lot of
nice.
Power Stone 1 and 2 on Dreamcast. I just really
Yeah,
like those games. I don't know if
yeah,
people
yeah,
have
yeah.
played, but they're pretty fun games.
Well, at least it wasn't like Caddy, where like her siblings gave her the controller when it was unplugged, and she
I
just sat
know.
there and thought she was playing.
I mean,
So I guess you're a little bit.
I guess on PC when I was a kid as well, I also played this cat and mouse game where you have to like you're a mouse and you have to move these bricks to lock the cats in and then kill them. It was like a
Wow.
Windows 95 game. And
Yeah,
then there
yeah,
was also
yeah.
this skiing game on Windows 95 that I played a bit.
Oh, the skiing game. I definitely
Yeah,
know what game you're talking
yeah.
about. That game was awesome. Um,
I think that's basically it. And then obviously then I got to PC gaming, Unreal Tournament 1999. I was like a 10-year-old and I was actually pretty good for a 10-year-old. The only problem is I was 10, so people didn't like to play with me competitively because I would complain and like I would not respect my teammates or my opponents. So when I
well,
was
you're a
doing like
10-year-old.
yeah, and then I even like faked registration on Clanbase and joined clans pretending to be older, and I would never go in mic
Did
or
you try to
anything.
make your voice
No, I
deeper?
just wouldn't go in mic. And then
Oh, okay.
like my brother would also play like kind of because Clanbase back then was kind of the esports scene, but it wasn't like prize pools. It was just people playing for ranking, right? Kind of
Right.
like XPulZ, something like people can see how many points they get and their kills and stuff like that. And then because my brother was registered, it was then found out that I was his brother and I was actually 10. And then like people just stopped playing with me. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna bench him." And then I started getting a bit rude, and I would use my mic and I'd cuss them out as a 10-year-old because I was better than them, but they didn't want me to play with them because I was a 10-year-old that was rude.
Yeah, well, I mean,
If any of you
well, I guess,
guys played on Tournament 99, they used to a really good player called GKC Rex. He was in this clan called the God Color Clan. I used to scrim with him a lot, and it was like people used to accuse him a lot of being an aimbot. I don't know if he was, but like I played with him and his group a lot to get better at the game. Now I can't play on a tournament because at least not 1999 because it gives me like arthritis. Well, not arthritis, but I get this pain in my wrist when I play it because it's so rapid.
you need to do like calisthenics or something for.
Yeah, maybe that.
It's because you work so
I'm
much
pretty
instead
bad
of the
at
computer.
taking care of myself. So
I feel like that's the majority of people though in life. Pretty
Yeah.
bad. Like we're much better. Generally, people are
Taking
much
care
better
of
at like
other
looking
people.
after others.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It hits more home when you have to like confront yourself with your own stuff. You're just like, maybe I just won't go to the doctor, the dentist. You know. Yeah.
I do need to go to the dentist though. I actually gonna book
Yeah.
an appointment.
Yeah, me too. I was drawing on personal. I had that conversation with myself earlier. Okay, so you that's how you got in the game. When did you start or realize that you want to get into video games like as a career? That's something you want to do work wise.
I never came to that realization at any point in my life. I liked video games and I like computers and I like technology and I'm pretty handy with this stuff and I know it's my thing.
Did you do the same thing with the clan that you did with Wildcard? Did you just like sign up and you're like, I don't have a mic right now?
People at Wildcard knew who I was. Well, the guy who got me like the interview and told me to apply, he was aware of who I was. He actually encouraged me to do it. But basically, what happened was I graduated from law school in 2013, and then I had some health problems, which made me kind of reconsider my life, and it prevented me from working or studying or anything. I was pretty much in and out of bed in hospitals for about 18 months, and then I would just spend my time watching Twitch streams, right? And I would watch this one streamer called HotshotGG a lot. He was a League of Legends streamer, and he owns a brand called COG. They're an esports organization. And he was really into this old school game called Ragnarok Online. And Ragnarok Online, for anyone who knows me, that's like my one true love for gaming. Like, my goal is to win the lottery so I could purchase the IP and then, like, hire a development team to remake that game. For me. Just for me. I mean, other people can play too.
Dream.
But, like, that's my dream. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. Like, I love Ragnarok Online. And I used to do, like, basically for a long time there was, and it's still ongoing as well, some developers got together and reverse engineered Ragnarok Online to make an open source mod, basically, so people can make their own RO servers. And RO is short for Ragnarok Online. And when I was like 12 or 13, and younger as well as older, I was kind of involved in that. So I would make my own RO servers from time to time and just like have fun with friends and stuff like that. And Hotshot basically wanted to make his own RO server. And because I was like an active Uranus chat and a mod, I told him like this is something I could help him with. And then I did. And then we launched an RO server. It was up for a couple months. I think day one we had like 3,500 players. I was doing pretty well, yeah. And then I got into some disagreements with the development team in terms of how the game was being developed. I'm a very transparent person, and I don't like not communicating very much.
You don't say.
And I also dislike slow development. I don't like if we're not doing rapid iteration, I don't enjoy that, right? And it was very frustrating for me to work with that development team because the guy who was leading the team, he was like, we won't tell them what we're going to do. And if there are issues, we'll just wait. Like, with Wildcard, we're developing all the time. Literally every day, there's like a couple new builds that we're testing and we're going through. They may not go out to public, but at least the internal team gets that. Like, with this project, that didn't happen. And it was very annoying for me. It was just so frustrating. So I ended up leaving that team. But just before that happened, I met the right hand from Wildcard, and he was actually a player on this Ragnarok Online server. Really? And then I learned from him that he's actually in the gaming industry. And we were just talking, and he was like, there might be a place for someone like me in his studio that's working on an upcoming game, but he can't tell me about it. He can, and then when someone tells you that, you're like, oh, you're making a game. Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever. Like, you don't really take it
Right.
seriously. I mean, but then with I actually really enjoyed Kate's company, so we spoke often and we shared our thoughts about loads of different things from gaming, politics, and just people. And he's a really smart guy. And we basically kept in touch. And then he said he'll get back in touch with me in a couple of months. Well, it was more like 8 weeks later he did, and which is 2 months, I guess. And then he told me about Ark, and he sent me an internal teaser for the game. This is just a wildcard only scene footage. And this is when wildcard's team was small. I think there was like 10 people working on the game, including him. And I think he was setting up dino poop sounds at the time. He was like, I'm actually making animals poo right now on this Skype call. And I was like, that's weird.
And
And then
and that's what hooked you,
no, then he
essentially.
sent me the video.
You're like sold.
The internal teaser. I can see if I don't know if I still have it. I don't know if Wildcard want me to release it, but they sent it to me. And I was just like watching. I was like, damn, this game is going to be big. I need to make it my life. And then from there, he invited me to do like a very, very early alpha testing for the game. And this is like I think there's only like 15 people involved. Some of us he knew the people involved he knew from his years of gaming, right? And essentially during this testing, I played the game nonstop. Uh, Pretty much how many hours? It's probably like over 120 hours plus a week, 130 hours. Like
And when was this? Was this
this is back in March 2015. So
okay.
before we had announced, before anyone knew of Ark. And like I don't know, I just got really involved in it. I was probably the person around the most, playing the most. I got the furthest. I would provide the most feedback kind of thing because I was literally trying to make this game my life.
So you were like number one best player at that point. Is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah. I mean, I still would be if I did have to work on the game, but I don't have as much free time anymore.
Oh,
But,
you think
yeah.
you would? You think you
Oh
would
yeah,
be
yeah.
like running like one of those super alpha tribes? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I
All
mean,
right.
actually, I don't know. I'm not keen on the whole 600-man tribe thing that's going on right now. That
I mean, those.
doesn't seem very fun. One of my real life friends, he plays Ark, and he's in one of those tribes, and I watch him play sometimes, and it's just like, I don't know, man. I like smaller groups, more
Yeah.
penetrative. Maybe
Yeah.
I'd ally with them, but I wouldn't join a tribe with a couple hundred members. That's
I mean,
not,
like now,
that's
I watched a PvP fight the other day on stream, like Shockist and Ranger or something like that,
Yeah.
and they had like alliance like fights. That's what basically like on one server, a bunch of tribes that were allied, like coming across and just fighting each other. I mean, that's for me. I like to do that, but like more like a smaller one, as you
Yeah.
said. I feel like that more fun. There's more room for, I guess, different kinds of fights, I guess, as opposed to
Yeah.
like these huge, like massive battles. Um, okay, so you were number one best Arc player, long
Yeah,
time.
and then
Um,
they were looking for a community manager who was kind of gonna meant to live on the forums and just kind of highlight issues and create a sort of relationship between the development team and the community without having the developers need to take their time away from actually developing the game, right? And then
Right.
so I was basically in Skype calls with the developers all day. Whilst they were developing, I was with them. And I was just like answering questions and going back and forth from the forums to them and kind of answer stuff. And that's basically what I was doing. And for me to, I had an interview again versus some other people, and I think they picked me just because of like how far I progressed in the thing during testing, and probably because of my writing skills. We had to submit a piece of writing for part of the interview process, and I submitted one of my legal dissertations. I was like, all right, I'm gonna, so I can write. I'm gonna show them this, and then
wow.
I ended up getting it, and then from there, because of how I guess active I was involved with the team, I didn't, even though they just wanted me to be this forum guy who would kind of relay back and forth between players and them. I tried to go beyond that and forced my way into different little things that were going on at the time, and I still do this today. Like when
It
something
seems
was
like you
going on
do.
at the studio, I like try and get into that slice of the pie because like I want to show I'm more useful than that. And then from there, like my position in the company just kept growing every week. I'd have new responsibilities, and like it never slowed down. It just kept going up and up and up, and it still does.
Speaking of responsibilities, what are your day-to-day responsibilities? Like, what is like if you like a walk through besides like the 125,000 tweets you do like every day? Like, what are some of the other responsibilities that
I mean,
we normally don't see?
it's pretty difficult for me to kind of answer that because every day it changes. So if I can give you an example of what I'm doing today,
Mm.
we have a console release coming up on PS4 and Xbox, and that's basically going to be the latest content. So today I'm actually doing memory work. And for those who aren't familiar, consoles tend to have on average like less memory than most PCs. And Ark is a very memory intensive game because we have very large maps, we have a lot of creatures, there's a lot of dynamic structures, so things are always stored in memory. And right now I'm working with one of the senior engineers to make sure memory's in a good place. So I'm checking the memory levels out on the map, seeing whether our latest optimizations are actually making a difference, whether there are any new leaks or bugs we've caused by introducing this stuff. And that was actually what I was working on prior to this call. I had just wrapped up Scorcher. Looks like it's in a good place to me. And then after this call, I'm going to go work on the center on the island. And then I'm probably going to do that for the whole day today. And then tomorrow it might be something else. It literally changes every day. I don't really have a day-to-day duties. Typically, I check my emails, I check my work messages, I sometimes check my Discord messages, my Skype messages, my Steam messages, my Twitter survive the
I feel like you're that very excitable like kid. You see every aspect of it. You're like, oh, what are we working on today? You're like, let me get in on that. And you're like, yeah,
pretty much. I mean, if there's something that I can help with, I'll try and get involved. And then I'll hit up the other guys on the live op teams to see if they can help out with stuff or seeing what other people are working on if anyone needs help. I spend a lot of time working with the senior engineers on the project, like diagnosing issues and stuff like that. So it's not just community work I do. It's kind of, I feel like community is a relatively mid-sized to small part of what I do at Wildcard.
Yeah, I feel like everyone got the sense from it, which is why I wanted to ask you about it, because you just see that. But it's also one of those things where when we have discussions outside of it about Arc, I know that other people that I do, the joke is like, well, send Jat a message, because you're kind of like the inside guy for the community, but you also like more than just a community manager. You kind of like, sometimes when you answer, there doesn't seem to be that lapse in time where you would need to go ask somebody. Yeah. Right. You just have it, and then based off that, it'd be like, okay, well, it seems like he has his hands in more than just the community and stuff like that.
It's just because of how development. I think comes down to early access. I don't think community management, at least in my eyes, it should. I don't think early access community management should be the same as a release game community management, and that's because in early access you're actively developing the game, so it's good for your community managers to be involved in that process too. They need to know like the ins and outs of what is going on in the game. Like they need to be able to diagnose issues. They need to be able to work with engineers. And because players don't like, you shouldn't just need to manage your community, because in early access there are going to be issues that players are going to need helping solving, and it's a lot better for the game and the studio if your senior engineers aren't the ones going online and solving those problems for people.
Right.
They're just keeping it all internal, and then you have a guy who can, or multiple people, like in Wildcard's case, who can kind of liaison and do that sort of stuff.
I mean, it obviously, as you could say, is the best case scenario is that you have people that do, their job, like the Venn diagram overlaps other ones, so they have more knowledge, and so therefore, even if like you say you're not there, something like that, Jen can answer something, or Panda or something along those lines.
There's a lot of like switching and shuffling and like I guess we're passing the hot potato around. Like everyone can carry their way a Wildcard kind of thing. And
you guys actually like I do social media like for my day job, and it took me. I realized that there were so many different Wildcard Twitter accounts. I just had to like find everyone, and it's always like there's some new treasure Twitter account person that Wildcard that I have not seen before, but then they're answering questions or something for someone online.
I kind of encourage them. Once I joined the studio, I kind of
which helps out.
Sorry, you were saying? I kind of lagged out, so I didn't hear you for a moment.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that once I joined the studio, I was kind of encouraging the development team to make their own accounts, because I think it's a good thing for there to be a direct access or see like some kind of communication. They don't have to tweet all the time. They don't have to answer the questions all the time. But like, it's nice for them to be present and visible every so often. So you're not just talking to the Survive the Arc account, right? We typically save Survive the Arc account for like media booms. So announcements, press release, retweeting media stuff, maybe retweeting player stuff. But when it comes to like one-to-one players, when it comes to one-to-one stuff, we tend to interact more from our personal accounts, just because it's like, well, Survive the Arc is the brand, but these are the people who work on the game.
Yeah, I feel the same way. The more transparent, the more you see the people working on the game,
Yeah.
One, do you feel like a certain level of connection to it as opposed to just like this company and this like just this logo, right? You don't really connect. But if you connect with people inside the company itself,
Yeah.
then there's more value to the game to it. Then you play it because, oh, I like Jat, and then you start like tweeting with them, like not even about like the game, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth.
It's
Um,
there's a fine line, I think. Sometimes it can get a bit troublesome because you get people like digging up personal information, and they may send you very questionable messages and stuff like that, which can be a bit creepy.
Davnil, we all know he's talking about you.
I
Stop
mean, for the
sending those.
majority of the time, it's not too bad.
Um, but it also helps, like, for instance, we had Scoom on. Scoom told us a story about how, I believe it's Scoom, that if it wasn't for you,
Yeah.
right, he would have never made it. Like, you actually had to go get his, like, passport and stuff like that.
China Joy, so we're obviously doing China Joy with Snow, right? And it was very hectic and chaotic because Wildcard was also actively working on the development of the game, and it was under my impression that Snell would be handling most of the organization stuff for China Joy. When it came to time, that to me things are moving very slowly, and it seemed like that wasn't the case. So I told people at Wildcard, I'm just gonna jump on this and start helping out and sorting out, which eventually resulted in me working with all the players to get them their visas and help them like write out their letters, get them their forms, and kind of like
meeting them at airports.
Yeah, it was only Skooma I had to do that for. I think, and I don't know if it was only Skooma I had to do that for, and basically like I was handling, I guess, the kind of production of the event off site from my bedroom in England. And even when the event was going on, I was like messaging the people in China live. I was like, "You got to change this. You got to do this." It's like, "Why is this happening?" And it was like an ongoing process.
Was that a struggle for you to have to be there and not be like there immediately?
I'm typically used to doing remote stuff. The only difference was because I wasn't communicating with the wildcard people, and like it's with wildcard people, I have ways to get access to them and be like, "Hey, I need you to do this out," because I was like I had to tell people there to then pass on the message to whoever takes care of it. It was very frustrating for me. If I was there, it would be a lot easier for me to just like, hey, you need to go do this. Like, just stop what you're doing, go do this now, kind of thing. But that I wasn't able to do that. But thankfully, the event still turned out pretty well. I was like happy with how it went for our first event, and there were things that could have been done better. But like me knowing the kind of prep that went into it, I was pleased. And as for Scoom, he's based in this island, and they didn't have like a visa office then because everything was kind of last minute and slow, and that's why I was stepping in. He actually sent all his details to my house, like next day post or something, and then I had to go back to the visa office like 2 or 3 times to get his visa done, and then the day he was flying to China, he had a connection in London, so he flew into London, and then when he was flying in, I went to go get his visa documents, and then I met him at the airport. We had
That's like some movie stuff right there.
Yeah,
we have a small window. We have to get him his papers.
It was pretty much an hour and 20 minutes to give him the stuff. And like if I was late, then he wouldn't have made it, or like he would have had to get another flight or something like that. And so I guess it wasn't that bad. It basically would have cost us like more money if I was late or something like that. Or if they didn't process the visa on time as well, then we would have been in problems because it was very tight. So once I got the application, I met him at the airport. We had a bit of food, and then he was on his way to
Basically,
China.
There's a lot of responsibilities that you take on yourself if you see that it needs to be done.
Yeah, because otherwise, it's the things left in the dark, and it's like
right.
Wildcard, they kind of know I do this, and like I was like after the event and stuff, like I get messages from like corporate, like we know you took care of this, thanks. It's really appreciated, kind of thing like that. And then that's how my position kind of grew because I did that.
Did you do that from the beginning? And was there kind of like, hey, what are you doing? But now they kind of just let you roam free?
Yeah, now they let me just roam with it. There was no, hey, what are you doing? I think it was surprising at first because I don't have a gaming background really. It's just all my stuff is hobbyist, right? The Ragnarok stuff was hobbyist. Me playing like games was most, even though it was like competitively, it was never like at the time it wasn't really considered competitively because there was no infrastructure, and it was more so for fun. And then they never expected that from me, right? And I guess it started very early on when the game had just released and we were running into some problems, but like the the gameplay team weren't able to figure out how these players would get into these problems, and then like I was a bit nervous at first, so I would never like write in the chat how it's happening. So I would just message on the gameplay guys inside like, "This is how it's broken. Here's a video. Follow these steps. Do this, do this, do this."
Not
And
trying
then
to step on people's toes.
yeah. And then eventually, I think there was like some argument between one of the engineers on the gameplay guys that they were disagreeing with something, and then that was when I started typing because they knew I had no like bias towards any kind of programming. Like
Right.
I'm not a programmer, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a gameplay programmer, so I don't know any of that stuff. I just know what works, what doesn't work, and then from there I kind of got involved in the process more, and then I guess SOTF, the first event, was the first ever SOTF thing we did. That was where I got heavily involved in wildcard stuff, more so than just community work, because I was working with the gameplay guys and creating the first ever SOTF game, I guess, and that tournament we ran. I think like in terms of how much sleep
is that
I had,
the one that Icebox won?
that's the one that Dolphin and Apollo's won.
Okay.
Ralph and Poshy Roll came second, and third. I can't remember who came third.
Was it your idea to give? Because I know so Icebox, whenever he spawns in regular Arc, he has a trophy. That's, was that your idea?
That was my idea. No, that was like wildcards thing. They wanted to give trophies to people, and then they just spawn in. They get those trophies.
When you spawn in Arc, do you have that for #1 best player?
No, but I can spawn whatever I want. And to be fair, if I wanted it, I could.
Yeah, here Caddy gave us some stories about
Yeah. Thankfully, that LMS thing she ran wasn't a wildcard LMS thing. It was like her LMS thing that I heard about. Yeah, and then the one charity thing where she spawned in and killed me. Well, I don't care if she kills me. It's like I'm just flying around on a field now, Like people can kill me if they want. I'm just there to.
Right,
like,
you're
once
probably
I die,
working on stuff on the side.
Yeah, once
too.
I die, I'm still in the game. So like I'm just like watching stuff anyway. So it doesn't really affect me.
So speaking of your wildcard career, what's been the biggest challenge? Like
the biggest challenge?
Yeah.
Survival League winners probably know what my biggest challenge is.
Yeah. Why did you say that?
It's I guess prize distribution was something that we weren't great with, and even now it's something we struggle with, but we've considerably improved over time. It's just because we don't have the infrastructure in place in our studio just yet. We're still like indie small guys. Well, when I say small, I mean like we're a small team, so there's a lot of overlap in terms of people's responsibilities, and that's my biggest grip. Mostly because I have to wait for other people to do their stuff, and they may not work as many hours as I do. So it's a lot of
right. And you seem like you maybe have a little control issues.
Yeah.
Because the Jet doesn't like
I
the
think
waiting.
it's fair to say.
Are you rushing? Yeah. Are you ever rushing your coworkers? You're like, hey, is this? Like, are you? They wake up in the morning and there's an email from you.
No, I don't really send my coworkers emails.
Oh shit.
Oh, okay. I was seeing fit to fix the stream or something. Yeah, I don't really send my coworkers emails. I would just text them or like Slack them a message and kind of spam them and stuff like that. I think the problem I'm probably most impatient with is Cade, and that's just because I've known him the longest. So like if I want something done, I will literally just blow up his phone. It's like, you need to do this for me now, kind of thing. But he does the same to me, so it's like kind of it's okay, Oh, are we still connected? Like Skype is just frozen completely. Can you hear me? Can they stream me? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he was just still.
Oh,
gosh. That happened to Oh,
this is killing me.
It's all right. Technical difficulties. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the caveat of using the internet. Like you can
in honor of Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah. In honor of you, I made my internet go out.
Sometimes the internet is out of your control. Like
yeah.
You can't help it. You just gotta work with what you have. It seems like we're good now. I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not stable mentally, but I think the internet's stable.
Okay. I don't think anyone in the world can say they're stable mentally. There's always something, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe XPulZ can say he's stable mentally. Maybe the only person.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about your challenges.
Yeah.
Like obviously, we could spend like hours talking about what you felt about SDF. But let's like talk about some of like the positive stuff. Like we talked about, you going, to the airport. I'm sure like meetings, go meeting other like streamers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What are some like situations, experiences that you're grateful for that you would have never expected to have when you first started working with Wildcard?
I think what is pretty cool. Let's see. Obviously, I like people I've met from working at Wildcard, whether it's players, my coworkers, other people in the industry. I think that's pretty cool. But I think that's also a very safe answer because I think regardless of what job you work, you'll always kind of meet people that you like. So it's very hard to pick a specific scenario where specifically working at Wildcard, this is okay. I guess a giant T. The fact that we had a giant T-Rex and like one best PAX booth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's not something you can work in. You can't work any job and say you've got that kind of award, right? And I know to some people it's not very impressive, but like PAX is a pretty big event, and for your booth to be the best booth at PAX, it's pretty sweet. Also, like being top one on the charts for multiple platforms for multiple periods of time as a game in development, which started out with like less than 10 people, is also a very impressive feat.
Did you ride the Rex, or did you?
Yeah, I've been on the Rex and the Dragon.
Yeah,
I was on all three. Yeah,
did you take a picture and send it to like any family members?
I never sent it to my family members. Possibly. Oh, I think I might have showed it to my mom. My mom really wants a graduation photo of me in the house. I don't know why. I guess it's a parent thing. I'm like, so many kids graduate. Why is this something you want to photo? Why don't you just have a photo of me on a Rex? How many children can say like that Rex is part of like that's something I think we should have a photo of in the house? But
yeah, if that were me, I would have like sent it to like anybody who said I would never do anything and be like, look at me now.
Yeah,
who's riding dinosaurs? Like you should send it to all your old like clan people that didn't want to play with you. Be like, you want to play now?
Planned with pretty cool. That was the one I think. Oh yeah, I guess the honorable tournament guys. Like in all the games, I was in various clans, various guilds, and they're pretty cool. Some of them like, cause I work so much, I don't spend a lot of time with my friends online and offline. So I don't really speak much to my guild members. Occasionally, I'll go back into the old Ventrilos, or like I'll stalk them on their social media accounts to see what they're doing, stuff like that. But I don't. Because I've kind of been ghosting because of work, so I feel awkward if I go holler at them. So like, because I've not been around for so long, so it's weird. My real life friends aren't as bad because obviously I still like kind of talk to them, and like I do see them occasionally. But mostly my online friends, I don't spend much time with anymore. People I knew for like years from gaming and stuff. I feel weird if I go
silently stalk them.
Yeah, I mean, when we released Scorched Earth, they were all talking about me on their like, because obviously PC Gamer released a statement from me, and then they were like saying, a lot of them actually didn't side with what I was saying, but like they were saying it's very interesting to see that someone they knew and gamed with when they were like 12 years old is now a part of this kind of gaming culture thing.
Yeah, the guy that used to catfish, saying he didn't have a mic and that he was an older person.
Does that make you? Does that make it? I guess that doesn't make catfish.
I mean, it's like a level of it, right?
Yeah.
I
did used to. I guess people say catfishes are manipulators, and I was kind of manipulative growing up as a kid online. Mostly because when I was like 12, 13 years old, I sounded to foreigners like Harry Potter. So when I used to go on online games, I would use my mic, and they'd be like, "Oh my god, it's a cute British kid," and they would just give me items, and like I would just hang out with the players who I knew were rich. And like, because I knew they would give me stuff, and then I would, just then share the wealth with my friends.
Yeah, I use the term now, arc rich.
Yeah.
And the same thing, right? So I'm sure that I'm sure you played that up too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what's the?
Jad doesn't grind. He just finds people that have.
Oh no, I love grinding. Like, Rank Online is a hardcore grinding game. I actually really enjoy grinding. I know I find it very relaxing, and but this is more so stuff like. People who purchase cash shop things, they spend like thousands of dollars on these games. I was 12 years old, so there's no way I was going to spend that kind of money. But I could be cute, 12 years old.
Right, exactly. The only money, the only
and they'll like dress
me
up,
voice.
with their good items and stuff, and then then I'd just feel like some badass in PvP or something.
So speaking of dressing up, I'd like to go on to the next segment, level 3. Okay, so we explain the tweet.
Wait, when was level 2?
Level 2 was wild card. We
I
talked
guess that
about
was
wild
so
card.
good. I just get level 2, right? You know when you gain so much EXP, you can just
Yeah,
like,
man. You just like yeah.
I get that.
You were bashing on the tree a lot. You just got 2 levels. You know, you were
Yeah,
spearing the tree actually.
I get that.
Okay, so let's go like level 3, and I'm gonna show you some tweets that have pictures in it, and hopefully you can explain a little bit what's going on, give us some more context to it. So the first one I have here is you in a Christmas suit.
Okay, yeah. Should I open these? Let me get these up as well so I can see what's.
Yeah, Jack will
Discord.
put them on the screen so we can
Oh,
see.
cool. Yeah. Okay, so this was when was this? This was 2015 December. I was going out with my friends. I hadn't seen them in a while, and then we're doing like some fancy dress thing. Okay, so my friends are pretty what's the word I want to use to describe this? Some of them can be ghetto, right?
Okay.
And when someone says fancy dress to me, I think costumes, silly outfits. But
Right.
when he said fancy dress, he meant suit up, not silly, right? So we were going somewhere, and I was fancy dressed because I was thinking, yeah, it's fancy dress, Christmas fancy dress. But he didn't mean like that. But it was still a good night, and then we went out, and then he took this picture of me without realizing. And then I just tweet out because I actually like my beard in it. So
Yeah, it's solid. It's solid beard.
I'm gonna go with that.
I think everyone's just a little disappointed that there wasn't like a matching hat.
Yeah, I actually did try to actually order a hat. There is a company in the States that do snapbacks that are Christmas based. Like it's a Santa cap that's got a bill on it at the front, but they don't have UK operations and they wouldn't be able to ship in time. So that was disappointing. I actually emailed them, but like, yo, I need this hat to complete my outfit.
And they probably didn't get back to you.
I think I just had, no, they did. They said they couldn't do it. I think I had a regular hat on the night, like a regular Santa hat, but I didn't really wear it. I just like put it in my back pocket, so it would hang out when I was walking.
Right. Well, I mean, it's just fancy, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like if you're wearing it, you know, then it's not like, you kind of make it more silly, right? Where without it, you could pass it off as fancy, right? Just in the spirit of Christmas. All right, so the next one I have here is I've seen this multiple times. I went through your Twitter feed, like I scrolled all the way back through your feed like one day. I probably spent like 4 hours like
Damn, that's dedication. That's some real journalist work.
Yeah, I mean I sprained my finger from using the scroll wheel going so far back. Like I had to wear a splint just because you tweet so much. But
it's pretty quiet the past month, I'd say, for tweets. But yeah, I do tweet. But
so the next one is what is this?
This is ice. I am anemic, and people who are anemic can occasionally suffer from something called pica, which is this desire to eat things, particular things. There's multiple different types of pica. Some are pretty dangerous, actually. I think some people with pica involves eating sharp objects, you know, so they just like cut up their mouth and stuff. And for me, because I think it may have been because of my iron deficiency, I enjoyed eating ice. So I would just eat ice multiple times a day, like just for breakfast or lunch or even dinner, like just a bowl of ice. And that would be my supplement.
Okay, so basically you run off of crushed ice. Like
I don't eat much ice anymore. My diet's better now because I have a PT and they're like get on my case about it. But I used to eat ice when's the last time I ate ice? Probably like 2 months ago. Last ate ice. But when I travel, I like eating ice because I want to taste the ice of different places. So like I was just
like the water quality, basically.
Yeah. So like if I'm on a different flight that I'm not normally on, if I'm flying to a different state or a different country, I'm like, can I get a glass of ice? Just glass. Then I'll just eat the cubes to see what it tastes like. I don't like ice in Canada. Ice in Canada is not that great. Toronto specifically. Where is it? Tim Hortons. They do not have good ice. Do not recommend ice from Tim Hortons.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it's as if they imagine your teeth are made out of hammers and they just want you to like crush the. I guess because they don't assume people to eat ice there. I don't know.
Probably not. I mean, but Tim Hortons is Canadian, right? If I'm correct.
Right? Yeah, Tim Hortons is Canadian. Yeah.
Maybe it's just because they're so far up there. Their ice is just like a lot harder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like Canadian ice.
Possibly. I mean, maybe I don't know.
I'm not really an expert in.
Where did I have really good
Canada.
ice? I think Boston. I had really nice ice, and the ice on Delta Airlines are typically pretty good. I've not had bad ice on Delta yet. Yet.
Okay. Well, yeah. There's always a
Yeah.
first for
Yeah.
things, something, right?
And that's gonna go viral once we discover there's bad ice on Delta. It's gonna be one of those airline videos, and we're gonna hear about it.
Yeah. I think that what'll happen is that it'll end up being someone getting beaten, and like they're gonna have like ice thrown on them or something.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna. I mean, I hope it's not.
And they're gonna like, and the person being beaten is like, "You call this ice?" And he's gonna throw it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, hopefully that's not you. So just try to like,
Yeah, I want a good ice experience,
yeah. This isn't first class ice. I
Yeah.
don't want no coach ice.
Exactly. I've been
Um,
watching a lot of Ice Poseidon lately, so it feels weird saying ice a lot. Ice is cool, dude.
you start getting to the point where like you don't even recognize the word anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next picture I have, speaking of you being younger, we touched on that. You said your grandma had a photo of you,
Yeah.
right? When your mom used
I
to
think
dress you up.
this
You don't
was
look
when
like a little. You don't look like a little chubster there. You don't look like a little.
Oh, this was because my weight does fluctuate a lot, right? I was probably chubbier after this image. This is probably the skinniest I've been ever in my entire life. This picture you're viewing right now. Even when I was born, I was bigger than this. But this is when I was in Canada.
Wait, even when you're born, you were bigger than this. How big of a baby were you?
I don't know. I was a big baby. I'd like curly hair as well. It's hard for me to imagine me as a baby and to see me now because I had like really curly hair. It was really nice hair.
I just imagine baby Jet has like a full-on beard.
Oh, sorry. Wait, someone just came into my room. But,
It's all right.
Yeah. Just alright, I'll take him.
All right, I will entertain you people. Let's see what the chat's saying.
All right.
I
Okay.
think I'm pretty tasty. Icebox, yeah.
What's the door?
Well, I don't know what.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. So have you decided on the name?
Yeah, his name is Patches. We just got it
Patches.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the tweet about it.
But yeah, so this photo is from when I was seeing my grandma in Canada. She had like this album, and this is it. You probably can't see it, and if I do that, you can.
And Patches is a he, she,
It's a he.
he, and
Yeah,
how old is Patches?
He's 8 weeks and 2 days. I didn't even know we were getting a puppy. Like we've been talking about getting a dog for a while. We used to have a dog. He passed away. He actually passed away on the finals of The Last Stand. It was kind of sad. I didn't get to actually go put him down because I was running that tournament.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Wildcard didn't know. I didn't tell them because we needed to run the tournament, so I didn't want them to like kind of be headless at that time. But yeah. So we've been talking about getting a dog for a while, and then yesterday, my sister and my dad were at my cousin's house, and then she just Googled to see if there was a Jack Russell being sold anywhere nearby my cousin's, and then it turns out there was a farm that had one, and then they just went and bought it and then brought it home, and then now we have one.
And were you handed it so that you could imprint? That's what's happening?
They phoned me and they're like, "Come downstairs," because normally I'm like working in my room, and I was like, "Why do I need to go downstairs? Like, who's here, right?" Because it's not normal for me to go downstairs. And then
why are you bothering me with people?
Yeah, it was basically like that. It was like they know I'm working, and then I went downstairs and then I see the garden open, and my dad's like, "Oh, they're in the garden." I'm like, "Why are people visiting me and then just go into the garden? This is even stranger." So I look into the garden. He's actually laying there, but I don't see him because I'm looking for a person. So I walk into the garden, and then I see my sister just sitting on the deck, and I'm like, well, "Why did you call me downstairs?" And she's like, "Look," and then she points to the puppy, and he's just sitting there. Hello. Yeah, he's just sitting there, and then yeah, that's basically it.
All right. Okay, so I know it's hard to move on from the puppy, but
Yeah.
so let me. Sorry, I have to get focused again. All right, so I still have a few more tweets.
Oh yeah,
actually,
go
more. So the next one I have is you, and there's a picture of a gentleman, and it says "Unraveling the Mysteries of the Ark: The Rockwell Recipes." Right? Who came up with? First of all, is that Rockwell himself?
Yeah, that's Rockwell himself.
And who came up with the drawing? Like, who came up with how Rockwell would look, or who?
It was probably Jesse, Jeremy, Nathan, those guys, maybe Cade. That was decided before I was there. I think at the time we typically did this thing on Mondays where we would kind of reveal stuff, and it was mostly Dino dossiers. But we were coming to the point of cycle where we didn't have much dossiers left, and the ones that we wanted to reveal, if we did add more to the game, were to be based on what gameplay element we were missing, right? Because a lot of people, they always ask us, "Hey, can you make this dino?" And it's basically a Kano but reskinned. It's like it will have the same function as a Kano, and it's not very. Yes, it's Bob's favorite dinosaur, whatever, but it doesn't add anything to the game apart from being a reskin.
Bob's important. Bob's important, man.
We ended up seeing what else we could do, and then we had these explorer notes that we had mentioned very early on, but we'd never really revealed anything about them. And then this was one of them, and Rockwell was one of the characters on the arc. You can learn about his time there and his stories and kind of the recipes. He's all of the food stuff, it says. That's why they call Rockwell recipes. And yeah, this is him. He's a British guy.
He's British.
Yeah, he's British.
I mean, his mustache and beard look like British.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I think anyone can kind of do that.
And I feel like his facial expression, where he's like he's not like too impressed by everything he's seeing. Which, if anyone else is there, is that what he's doing? Contemplating?
I was like, what's happening? Kind of thing.
He doesn't seem like he is in danger at any moment. I feel like that's the issue. I'm like, for me, I'm scared every time I play. I mean, he acts like the dinosaur behind him, not just gonna rip him apart.
I think at the time is once people get to this state where they can actually coherently write stuff, they've probably got past the shock of where they are. You know.
Now, okay, so if he's British, is this kind of like colonization? Because UK went through a big colonization phase, and they went around the world, and they were like, "Hey, this is the way you should be doing things." Is this?
I'm not going to say too much because I know there are people probably in the chat who play Ark and they may not follow the story, not know it yet. But it's certainly not colonization, and it's just that he's a character that is present on the Ark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a character, so there may be more.
There are multiple characters on the Ark, yeah.
Okay.
That
gotcha.
aren't like the actual players themselves,
Right.
Like they're not AI, but they've left their mark.
Rockwell's just the one who has a diary, is what you're saying.
There's more than Rockwell who have diaries, but yeah, he's one of the characters' diaries.
Gotcha. Okay, so the next one I have is a T-Rex, and you ask should I wear these at PAX? Did you wear it? Did you wear it? And would you wear it?
I mean, I think I'd be down to wear it. When was this? Let me see which PAX this was at. This was at August. So this was at PAX West. So this was 2016. It's a Scorched Earth release. Okay. Yeah, I didn't end up wearing it just because there's so much to be done. And it's like, when I got to PAX, I didn't spend much time in the actual booth. I was in this back tech room with the production team, mostly because I was dealing with a lot of fires that became apparent as of Scorched Earth release. And I wouldn't say became apparent. There's some things that were expected, some unexpected because some things were silly. But so I was dealing with a lot of that, and I actually didn't spend much time in not the shop floor, what is it called? The booth itself. I didn't spend much time outside there.
I mean, I'd love to see you putting out fires in that.
Yeah.
Working just working.
I mean, I would do it. I'm not like afraid to dress up silly and stuff like that. I think it's fun to be in fancy dress, and like I'm all down for wearing costumes and stuff. The PAX is pretty warm, I guess. There's another costume where it's like you're actually riding a dino. You have like a saddle, but it looks kind of
right. Yeah, I've seen that one.
The green one, yeah. Give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna close the door because I left it open. All right, that's good enough.
Okay, so the next picture I have is a picture about Cedric. I feel like Cedric's desk is one of the most talked about things when it comes to like wild card group. We
don't highlight on it too much. It's just it's just really messy. When I was there, like my desk isn't clean right now, but I have way more stuff on my desk than Cedric. Like actual work stuff on my desk, Like Cedric's desk was just messy with drinks and stuff. I may have sensationalize the image a bit by moving other people's stuff onto the desk and adding a
Oh,
shoe
okay.
and like a lemon and stuff like that. Like that
So
shoe belongs to Cade. I don't know where I took the lemon from. I just found a lemon and I just put it in there. Like no one was gonna use that lemon. It was like left for
so
where stuff would get thrown
10-year-old
out.
Jat reared his head, and he kind of is
I was just
antagonizing a
giving
little.
him crap for having a messy desk. And I was like, you know what? It'd be funny if I just made it more messy and tweet it out. Like,
It seems like it's snowballing now. It's
yeah.
becoming more and more a thing. I'm just waiting for you to like put more and more stuff like on his desk when he's not around.
I like Cedric a lot. When he joined Studio Wildcard, he was a bit nervous. I think because we hide him from the modding community, and the person he had interacted the most with was me. But I'm based in the UK, so it's just like an online thing. But when he was in Seattle, he was meeting everyone else, and I think it wasn't until PAX when he felt like really fully embedded because he came to one of the PAX events, and then he kind of got to hang out with the team less in a work environment, more of a like casual. And then that was when like things started happening, and then I was like teasing him. I like teasing people I work with. It's
Yeah,
just
I
like
can see
it's
that.
banter, right? I don't think I've ever crossed the line. I mean, I hope I haven't. I would like for them to tell me if I do. I used to have a problem where sometimes in school I would tease people a bit too much, and maybe I was considered a bully of sorts.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. That to me, it's just in my environment. I just grew up making fun of my friends, and they make fun of me, and it's like this back and forth thing. Like if I make fun of you, it's probably because I like you.
And now Cedric gets that.
Yeah, like Cedric seems to think he's 6 foot. Because he's a gym guy, it seems to like be really insulting to him if anyone says he's not 6 foot. Because I guess he cares a lot about his physique. He's like really healthy and he like eats clean and trains. He's a personal trainer. And I think one day I was like, oh, so you're like 5'11", right? Just out of curiosity when I was trying to guess his height. And he was like, what? No, and he got like so offended. And then from there I would just call him 5'11". And then recently he has his primitive plus patch. And it was patch 5. But I edited it to patch 5'11".
Oh God.
Oh god, it's just like these small things I just find so funny. Just
Yeah, it just seems like it.
yeah.
Speaking of funny and picking on someone, the last like picture I have here is just a picture of someone I don't know who it is, and you call him Saddle Boy.
Yeah.
That
can kind of be, I guess, misinterpreted because it could be, I guess, taken the wrong way. But he's someone who
probably
makes
like Davnol like will think something else.
Yeah, he makes our saddles. He actually joined the studio before I did. He's also based in the UK. He's been a 3D artist, 3D modeler for Wildcard for quite some time. And this was the first time everyone was meeting him because our guys typically don't attend the events, but we all went to GDC because we're trying to recruit and we needed people of every field to be able to speak to potential candidates. And so we flew out mostly for GDC. And this was just on our way back because me and him were the last super to leave the event. And we're just in the airport. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tweet out a picture of him because he was just sitting there eating. And it's so funny what happened from this. I think someone was hitting on him in the comments, isn't it? And then he got a message from his girlfriend asking to us at the same time.
Wow.
That was just really funny for me.
So
I was satisfied with myself for accomplishing that.
Yeah, it feels like you might be the person in the office that comes up with like the best zings or like the jokes.
I'd say it's probably like Navin, Cedric, and Cade currently, but that's because they're in the office. If I was in the office,
so they have more material. That's what it is.
But I'm at home, so
you work with the limited material that you get. Yeah. You know, you make the most of what you have. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. When I'm at events, I do. I don't know. I like to ban people. I have a lot of banter with Rob Howard.
Yeah.
He just says a lot of things, which makes it really easy to kind of poke fun at him.
So like he basically like sets you up. All you have to do is spike it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And you're just like, I can't help it, Rob. Like, what do you?
Yeah, he realizes. I do tell him, it's like, well, he shouldn't have said that. Stuff like that.
Okay. So generally we have like some kind of like community questions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I haven't.
We already do level 4.
Yeah. No. Level 4 is
level
the
4
community
is community questions.
Yeah,
right.
level 4. You've leveled up. You
Oh,
get
I
to.
mixed up level 4 and 5. I thought they were part of the same thing. Okay, cool.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
I follow now.
Yeah. Sorry, we don't have the greatest tutorial here. We're
Sorry, we don't
still
even
in
have.
progress, you know?
Sorry, it's a survival game. You don't need tutorials.
Yeah, this is a survival interview. Like if you don't pass the levels, then
Yeah, you
you
just
just
get
get
killed off.
done. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
All
That's what
right.
Jackal's for. Uh, um, okay, so the big question that everyone wants to ask is how many
Yeah.
hats do you have?
How many hats do I have?
And were you born with a hat?
I was not born with a hat. I
Did
didn't
you come
actually
back with like
find
a
out.
snapback?
I didn't find out I was a hat person until I started growing facial hair. So that was when I first shaved my head. So that was around 2013. When I used to be clean shaven, and this
Yeah.
is when I had hair, I didn't really wear hats, except occasional beanies. And then I didn't actually find out I was a snapback person until October 2015. I mostly wore just beanies, and I have probably like 5 or 6 beanies, but I don't really wear them much anymore. In terms of snapbacks, it's like 3 there. And there's probably 2 downstairs, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's at least 10 there. 10, 3, 2. There's 15 snapbacks currently.
Do you ever feel like getting custom ones? Like
I look at
one that
Etsy
says like,
occasionally.
I know your server's having trouble. We're
Oh
working on
no,
it, you know?
I wouldn't get something like that. I was looking at Etsy because I want an arc one, like an embroidered A on it. I wouldn't get one that says Jat, but an embroidered A I think would be pretty cool.
Or like Cedric's really 5'11", just like get like a hat that says
Maybe
that.
get him a hat that just says like 511 on the side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Isn't that the
exactly.
name of like a grocery shop in America? 511? No,
7-Eleven.
711.
Yeah,
711.
yeah. There you go. Okay, so Stifler asks, if you go back and change anything from the last year of your time with Wildcard,
Yeah.
what would be, or I guess
Last
maybe not even change, but like work on, or what you wish you would have done differently in the situation?
last year. So I guess this is up till June of last
Yeah.
year. Okay. Hmm. What have we done since June of last year? Okay, I guess the official mods program. Uh, if if I could go back, I think it would have been better to do the sponsors mod program then instead of now. And because I think we learned a lot from releasing Primitive Plus and the Center as official mods initially. They just weren't ready to be released, I guess, and also we didn't realize how they would impact our development pipeline. Now, but then at the same time, we wouldn't have realized that had we not done that. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, it's a
Like,
double-edged
say if,
sword. Like
yeah, exactly.
you learn from you.
Yeah, and then
I
that's
mean,
why we were able
you
to
have to make
create sponsored
mistakes
mod project. Yeah,
in
exactly.
order to do it, and that ultimately the all you can hope for is to learn from it. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. Going back to the hat thing, I know we just kind of we spoke about that, but Kat actually said something really cool. So I support this team called CLG. I spoke about them earlier during the show, and they were releasing this limited edition snapback. It was a black and yellow one, and I wasn't attending the event. It was only at PAX South they were doing this. I think it was PAX South or maybe PAX East. I can't remember, but I wasn't at the event. But that's Cat was. It's like I was calling. I was like, "Hey, you need to go to this booth and see if they have this hat available, and then grab it for me." And then she thankfully went and got that hat, and she brought it to the next event I saw her at. And she wore the
So
hat. So.
do you think people would say that maybe there needs to be an intervention like for your snapback, your hats? If you're
I
having
mean,
like people
I
like go to
think people
like
can wear what they want as long as it's not like offensive or anything like that. I think hats. I like how hats look on me. I'm probably gonna get my dog a hat as well.
really
Yeah.
like a snapback for your
I don't know
dog.
if I can find a snapback for him, but maybe a little hat. He's small. Like what? Last night I was taking him to the garden. It was like 4 a.m. because he was crying, so I thought he had to go to the toilet. He's already toilet trained. I think the place that we got him from, they like just train them early. He like cries, and then you just know he needs to go to the garden. And then when I took him out, he was shivering. So I was like, he kind of needs something.
Needs a
And
hat, yeah,
yeah, and the
obviously.
reason Louis was an option was because my sister's kind of basic, so she was just like, we can call him Louis after Louis Vuitton, and I was just like, I like the name Louis, but I don't think you should call it Louis after Louis Vuitton. So
Oh wow, wow, right
but
hand.
like I
Okay.
think for his first birthday, maybe we'll get him like a Louis collar, and then I thought a Louis jacket, but the thing is they outgrow the jackets pretty quick.
Um,
And I like hats. The only reason I found out I like hats is because I was on a night out with some friends, and it got really cold all of a sudden. So, and there was this like, I think she was Russian. There's this just Russian girl who's at this place we were at, and she had one of those fluffy Russian hats. And I was like, and she was only wearing a jacket, so I was like, "Can I have your hat?" Like, at first I asked her if I could buy it because I was just so cold and I was drunk. And she was like, "No," but she was, "You can wear it." And then she put it on, and when she put it on, everyone was like, "Damn, if she like can pull off hats." And I looked, I was like, "Yeah, I can. This is a girl's hat as well." And then we just started asking people as they will buy if I could try on their hat because we are like seeing what hats work best. And then there was these Korean girls who were visiting from Korea, but they were wearing like basketball clothes. And I think no, it was hockey. They were wearing American sports gear, right? Like for fans. And she had a Pittsburgh Penguins hat on. I don't know what team that is. I don't know if it's basketball or football or whatever. But she had a Pittsburgh Penguin hat on, and I tried it on, and I was like, "Damn, snapbacks look really good." And then from there, I just stopped buying snapbacks.
So basically, you went through like an experimental phase.
Yeah, well,
trying
it was more
on
like
everyone's
a couple hours.
hats.
Yeah, it was more like a couple hours in this kind of like outdoor kind of drink like pub bar thing. And then I've been trying to find that hat again because it's I think they don't sell it anymore. And I've been looking at like I just go on these sites every now and then looking for it. It's like this special. It's a Pittsburgh Penguin hat. The brim is like green, but it's yellow underneath and it's black on the top, and then the logo is like in the center. Thing is, they do sell Pittsburgh Penguin hats now, but it's not this specific version. So it's really frustrating. And
so it's kind of like your white whale, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep wearing. But like when I was out with my friends, Saturday. Was it Saturday? No, Friday. It was Friday evening. I was out with my friends. So Friday was Ark's birthday, but it was also one of my best friend's birthdays, and I've ditched him 2 years in a row because of Ark. Because obviously we had Ark's release in 2015 and the first birthday in 2016. And then I was like, I can't ditch him 3 years in a row because this is someone I've known since I was 5 years old. So I was like, I want to go hang out with him. And the places we were going in London, they typically don't like people that wear hats because, like London's a very surveillance state and they want to be able to see you. So you have to wear, if you're wearing a hat, you have to wear it backwards. And then,
really?
Yeah, so I was wearing I don't mind wearing snapbacks backwards. I don't do it too often, but I was doing it this night. And then a lot of people just keep promises like, you look like Ice Cube. Is his name Ice Cube? Like that rapper? Yeah, he was like, you look like Ice Cube. I was like, I'm okay with that. He's a funny guy. I like his movies with Kevin Hart. So I'm okay with that.
Okay, so I have a question from Harry.
Harry?
Yeah, Harry Naple. He says,
Harry.
Yeah, Harry, exactly. Gaming question: when will he hire me to write the lore for Ark? This real question should get him to smile, as we've talked about it before. Not a troll. I don't know if I was supposed to read that part, but
Harry wrote fan fiction for Ark on the Steam forums. He did a lot of it. I think most of the time it was around 2016. I think it was like early 2016. But I think he did 2 chapters, and then the 3rd chapter just took months to release. So I just stopped kind of following it because it was like, when is it going to come out? So
right. That you're not the person to have patience for like that long. Obviously we've established that you like
someone
things
just has
to move
remind
quickly.
me, like, hey, it's been done now. Like, because I read a lot of like stories and stuff like that. But if Harry is serious, you should send an example of your writing to this guy. Actually, I'll just message. I don't want to give this person's email out in chat. But we'll always look for writers. Send an example of your writing to this guy.
So Highfire 15 asks, okay, you mentioned to me that something about E3. You didn't say anything specific when we talked earlier. But will Wildcard have anything to hype at E3? Or we have to wait a bit longer?
You'll have to wait and see whether we do. Even if we did, or even if we didn't, I don't want to allude to that, because
right. Are you gonna go?
We don't have a booth. We don't have a booth at E3. I will say that, and I will not be at E3. There may be some people at E3 just because it's like a gaming thing, and it's kind of standard for studios to send one guy or two guys to just go and talk. You just have to wait and see whether we have something. And now it's like, I'm
Will you be going to Gamescom?
I am like 99% sure I'll be attending Gamescom. The 1% is based on how many fires there are, or also whether I'm sick or not. So, but at this rate, it's pretty likely I'll be at Gamescom. I'm like, even if I'm late, I can just fly in late, because it's like an hour flight.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So Tio wants to know what's your favorite mod?
My favorite mod. That's hard. I like a lot of mods. The mod I really used to enjoy was Tribals, but the guy who was working on it, Kenturak, he now works for DICE. He works on Battlefield. I think he's a level designer for them, so that mod's development halted. There's this guy, I believe his name is Hog Scraper. He's working on a DM kind of style mod, which is it's actually a looter mod too. So you go looting items instead of crafting them. And he's built a map with buildings and stuff. So I guess kind of BR style arena with dinos. I think that's the plan anyway. But that's just early development. I'm very much pleased with the active development of Survival Plus, Ragnarok, Eco mods, Steampunk. They're all pretty good mods. There's a new mod that's gonna be announced soon. And when I say announced, it's kind of weird to say it like that. There's just this team of modders who are working on something, and they seem very professional in how they're going about things.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of the ARC players are going to be excited for when they reveal. They were meant to announce a couple of days ago, but they're working on some like announcement stuff, so they haven't yet. So when they announce, I'm going to retweet and I'm going to share their post because I'm hyped about this mod. I think it's going to be cool. There's a lot of work going into it. Like they've got artist level designers. Like they're going ham. These guys really want to make it's gonna be a total conversion. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Big cool total conversion, yeah.
Total conversion is always exciting.
Yeah. The only problem is there's a big load time, but maybe if this mod really takes off, I can kind of convince the engineers to kind of look at that load time. They're like, hey.
Yeah. Total conversion load time. Yeah. I have time to like go make it, like cook dinner and stuff, and then come back.
Yeah. I'm excited for the release of it.
Okay, so
it's not really a release. I think they're just announcing that they're working on it, and they're going to show players what they're planning on doing. I think people in the modding community can probably guess what I'm talking about. I don't want to say what it is because they haven't done a public announcement yet. But it's not like it's a secret. If you go on the Unreal forums, if you go to the modding Discord, you can see them talking about it, So, or not like the modders, but the actual team working on it. You can see them talking about it.
I'll have to do that. Okay, so
did she mean favorite mod, as in someone who bans people?
I don't know. I just figured I would leave it up to you to determine that.
Okay.
Okay, so we kind of run over a little bit here. So I guess we'll go on to like the level 5, like the boss fight question, right? Okay. So we generally have like an idea of people who work for Wildcard, right?
Yeah.
And so say like in real life, based off of your game arc, right?
Yeah.
If everyone from Wildcard woke up in their underwear on the beach of an island populated by dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
Based off your game, I don't think anyone's ever played through it and not died, right?
Yeah. I don't think anyone in the history of Ark has played through Ark and not died. If you have, you need to be doing something else with your life. You're a very lucky person.
Right.
To be curing disease.
Buy a lottery ticket and give it to you so that
so we can make Ragnarok come true.
Right, exactly. Okay, so how would each wildcard member like go? Like what would happen? Like
is this based on real life characteristics or how good they are?
Yeah, based off everyone that you work with that right? So all
right.
Like you're on the beach.
It's kind of hard for me to go through everyone because not everyone knows who the people are.
Sure. Let's go through. You could just do like the main, main people.
Okay, so I think Naven and Cedric will do pretty well. They're both pretty athletic dudes. Cedric is more so athletic than Naven, but Naven is small, so he has that whole like he can slip through things and get away if he needs to, right?
Right.
Cedric is a big guy, so I think he'll kind of fight his way to victory, and his primitive plus is based on research he has done into how people lived in a primitive world. So he knows how they live without technology, without electricity. He knows how they live. And I think he's done enough research to, if he was put in an environment, he could probably work out and survive, So I think those two guys will do pretty well. Naven would probably steal from other people. He would just he would just run around stealing stuff from other people.
So you think he would get killed by another wildcard member for stealing?
No, I don't think anyone at Wildcard would really kill each other. I think Ben is a very interesting choice. So Ben is the guy who works on the center.
Mhm.
For those who don't know him, he is built like a football player. Like when I saw him, I was like, oh, this guy just looks like he's. I don't know the roles in football, but
Right,
when I
right,
say football, I mean American football.
right.
Uh,
I got you.
he is. I don't know the position, but you have that one skinny dude who carries the ball. He's the
Yeah,
big
yeah.
guy who would protect the skinny dude. That's how he's
Okay,
built. So I
I
feel
got
like
you.
he could kind of hold his own, fighting some creatures. As assuming it's arc like in the sense that like if you're strong enough, you could actually punch out a dino. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
I think Ben would do pretty good there. Um, Adam, Jan would get they'd get slaughtered. I think they would try and bring Wildcard together and make us cooperate and work with each other to try and like survive. Uh, but I think they would get slaughtered. Um,
In my mind, I just see Jen just getting eaten by an animal as she was making a Parasaur friend. You know, like
yeah, maybe I think it would maybe like come down to curiosity. They would approach something I think is friendly, and then I guess if it's based on Arc knowledge, they know Arc pretty well, so maybe they know enough about the game to kind of survive. Um,
yeah. But I
it's
mean, you have to go at some point. You
yeah,
know.
that's true. Yeah, like who else is there? Zane. I actually asked Zane what he thinks it'd like, and Zane said he'll die pretty early on. But he would go out like enjoying the experience. He wants to go see the Rex, the Carno, the Raptor. He would die so fast, but he would like he'll die being eaten by a Rex, and he would enjoy that because
Because
like
his curiosity would get the
yeah,
better.
exactly, yeah. Krista, I don't know about Chris. Lord Chris, he'd probably just be chilling and waiting to see what happens. I don't know how he'd survive in it. Rob is from the military, so I don't know if he has like some kind of training to help him out or something. So maybe he's
So
able,
he might survive longer than others.
maybe. But Rob is also the kind of guy to help his friends, and maybe that might be his downfall.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Rob tries to team up with people and then it ends poorly for him. But he's military. He's from the military, so he's got like some kind of. Then again, like the dude doesn't have that same active lifestyle that he once had now. Now he sits in front of a computer, drinking 20 cans of Red Bull a day. He's like a very unhealthy obsession with Red Bull. Um, but I don't know. Maybe he's a smart guy, so maybe he can survive. Uh, Cade. Cade. I don't know how Cade would do. Cade is really interesting in that sense. It's like when you first meet Cade, Cade is the best way to the whole don't judge a book by its cover thing. That
Yeah, yeah.
100% applies to Cade. Like when you look at Cade, you do not realize things about him just by looking at him. So like Cade is actually reasonably fit. He works out. He's quite an intelligent guy, but you won't know that by looking at him. And then like you think he's a dork or something, but but he's not. So I don't know. I think he's intelligent, but I think he'd do well. But at the same time, I think he's also the type to like take too many risks in this. Like I don't know how he'd play this. Would he play this smart and be safe, or will he play this? Because he's a very intelligent guy, and he's gonna be curious about what's happening, right? So
Right.
is he gonna go and want to learn about what's going on, um, or is he just gonna play it safe and try and survive? I can't really tell what he'll do in that situation.
Well, I
Who else?
mean, unfortunately, your game has made it so that even if you do play it safe and you do the
Yeah.
smart thing, is that the game
Do
then
we
is like, no,
respawn?
no, 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 no.
Do we
Right.
respawn if we die, assuming we have a bed or sleeping bag? Or is
No.
it
Oh gosh,
cool?
no.
Okay, cool. So hardcore. All right. So in terms of me, what I do, I'd
This is
probably
the life.
try
This is the
with
life.
Jen and Adam to kind of get people to work together, and I would encourage that we delegate roles and positions, like people, and we should always employ the buddy system.
Right.
Um,
Don't
kind
go
of
out at
like
night.
yeah, not don't take unnecessary risks. Look for shelter. Uh, like we can go into caves, right? Because the creatures don't spawn in the caves unless you're deeper in. They're never at the entrance. We can just chill at the entrance of a cave, barricade one side of
Right.
it.
One side and get the
Exactly.
other. Yeah.
And you have the other side. Like
Like
dinos don't know how
early
to open
human
doors.
survival.
Like if I was on my own or if people didn't want to team with me, I would die 100%. I don't know how long I'll survive because like I can't climb trees, I can't swim. I have like 5,000 medical problems in my life, so I'll be a burden for my team. but I also add like I think I can lighten the situation. You know, like if people are dying, I can at least lighten the mood. Like we'll
Right.
enjoy our deaths. You know, maybe we can do a barbecue or something before we go out, or like the thing is,
Yeah.
I'm also very adrenaline driven. So if I'm in that environment, maybe something's just gonna like happen to me, and I just like kind of flip out and stuff like that. I can also be kind of aggressive. Um, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like
I feel like you would die because you'd be crafting a hat, like a snapback, and you would spend
we don't have
like you would
snapbacks.
use
Oh, I guess we have the skins, but those skins are acquired automatically, so I wouldn't have to craft it. I would already get it. But then I have
yeah,
to
but I
make it.
feel like that's that your first thing. You'd be on the
I
island, you'd be
mean,
like, I need to make a hat here.
I would legitimately steal something from people. I would just like see. I mean, if it's like okay, last man standing, you gotta fight to survival. Like if it's like guaranteed, if you make it, you're the one. I don't know. Like would I throw away my morals? Probably. I'm in an island with dinosaurs, and like every second, every action you take matters. I would probably throw away my morals to or I would see if there's someone who can like I don't know.
I feel like when
I would be
Cedric
manipulative.
died,
I would be
you'd
no.
be like he wouldn't have died if he was 6 feet. I feel like that's something you would say, you
I
know?
would be manipulative. I would encourage people working together for my benefit.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
that's
Exactly.
people wouldn't expect it of me because I'm Jack.
Yeah, yeah. You're kind of like the
And
like behind the scenes
yeah,
mastermind of the group.
yeah, exactly. I try and like do something conniving, and they just want
Right. You're like, you
they won't
need food.
expect
You're
it.
like, no, Cedric, you're actually like, a big 6 foot guy like yourself. You could probably get us some
Yeah, I was like,
food.
Cedric, you're like, yeah, you're really athletic. You know, like you know how to do this. Like that should be your role. You know, like Nathan can go with you. He's small, he's skinny, he's quick. He can like slip through the trees, stuff like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's like I'm not handy. Oh god, I would be terrible. I would be the worst tribe mate if it was based on real life characteristics. I have so many medical problems. I can't swim. I can't climb. I'm terrible at DIY. I can't draw, so I couldn't make a map or anything like that. Uh, I'm good with people, but like in that environment, do people even exist? Your
Yeah,
mind
like
probably gets so screwed up. No one is a coherent or reasonable human being. Like the sense of
when you're
everyone is
always
probably
in
driven by
danger.
instinct, you know, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is probably driven by instinct. So, like, I would probably be the worst person to be in that situation with. And like, and you know what? If no one helps me, then I'm gonna be angry and I'm gonna get killed. They'll die to Jack. They'll die to me.
Everyone dies to jet, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
That's what's gonna happen. Like,
Oh, okay. I think that's a good place to end on. Everyone dies to jet. All right, good. That'll be the title of
some
the
if they
interview.
betray me.
What'd you say?
Some if they betray me. If they help me, then it's all right. So I'm a
You
liability.
never
In
know.
that
You never
situation,
know with
I'm
Chad.
a 100% liability. Like 100% liability. That's in that situation. I got like, yeah, no doubt.
Well, I'm glad it doesn't come down to that. Uh, although now I'm dying just laughing at that. All right, so we should probably wrap this up. It's been like an hour and a half. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Coming and talk to us about yourself and Wildcard and how everyone's gonna die to you. And honestly,
You want me on your side. That's the message to take from this. Like,
right, never
I'm a
side
valuable
with
ally.
Jack.
It's better to have me as an ally than an enemy.
Right, keep your friends close, or yeah, keep your friends close, enemies closer. You know, you never know where the line is drawn with Jet in this survival situation. And also thank you for the work. Like, I'm sure you guys don't get told a lot, but like a wild card, it is very refreshing to see like the transparency that you guys have, and the way you go about things, and the way you handle like trolls. We're like, when are you gonna fix your game? Which
fix everything in 1 hour.
I mean, which I apologize for tweeting that
That's
at
wild
you,
cards.
but
I mean, loads of people tweet at me. It's like if I show you a picture of my Twitter feed, I was showing it to Adam yesterday because I asked Adam to tweet something out. And I think the moment he did it, I did it, and he was like, "Are you just saying F5 on my feed?" I'm like, "No, I just saw it on my feed." Then I sent him a picture of my feed, and he's just like, "Damn." Well, I only sent him like what I could fit on my screen, which was probably 30% of my feed. And he was just like, he would. Let me find the quote. He said exactly. He goes, that is way too much information for my brain to handle, and it was just like 30% of what I normally look at when I have it open. So I don't know. I missed a lot of tweets too at the same time as.
I was gonna say you have to by default, just because you know.
And there's some things I don't answer because it's like, I've answered this maybe 6 times today. You can just click on my profile and kind of see it. Go to the dev tracker and see it. You know.
Right. Like actually put in some work. You know, like if you're gonna be trolling.
I don't think they're trolling. It's just that they want to know the answers, but at the same time, it's like people don't exist to hold your hand. Sometimes you got to go out there and make the effort yourself. And people think we're sassy when we respond like that. It's like, nah, just take the 2 steps to click on something, and you can see what's going on. You know, like
I feel like you need an assistant that's to like then like point. It's kind of like how you have commands in Discord, right? Or, I mean, in Twitch, they just have like commands that they constantly put in and just hit like the.
Well, you know how there's that thing. Let me Google that for you. They should be like, let me arc dev tracker that for you. And
exactly. Yeah, somebody needs to code that in for you. Yeah. New mod program. You heard it first. All right, so let's wrap this up. Let's get it out. I appreciate you spending time with us. I take away from all the work that you're doing, and thank you very much for gracing us with your presence.
I am very grateful to be on the show, and I'm glad you guys invited me. It's a fun time. It's nice to kind of chill out and not always be so, I guess, like formal or on the go kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, and well, thank you. I appreciate it very much. I know we at XPulZ are grateful. I'm sure everyone in chat is. Pulling a lot of people in here that would never come see me normally. So that's good.
Watch their streams. It's a good time. I'm always lurking. Well, I came in at the last minute on the roundtable thing you guys did.
Yeah.
I came in right when the decky thing was going on.
Yeah. I thought that was. I mean, it was perfect timing. It was literally perfect timing.
Maybe I came like 2 minutes in before that, but nothing was really going on for me to comment on. And then that happened. And then I was like, "Hey, doesn't that Ralph have that neat emote where he does the hand thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is 9/11." And then
yeah. That was. I think I've never laughed so hard before when that happened. We're gonna actually try to do that discussion again coming up.
The Stadecki discussion?
Well, not the Stadecki discussion, just the round table with those guys where we had discussion.
I actually didn't know about the whole. Honestly, I did not know about the whole 1080 thing until about 4 or 5 days after it happened. Really? I got messages about it, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they were like, "Yeah, you did this," and I was like, "I didn't do this." And then I was like, "What's going on?" And then Jen was like, "Oh, Rob did this." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, it's because Stadecki blamed you or credited you with anything that happened, like ARC-wise or the SFTF. Yeah. So, like, if something would happen in the game, it was just like RNG, he'd be like, Jat, like, but then he got it and he was like, thanks, Jat, I can't bash on you anymore. It was just like, it's in his mind, I guess you're the only person that works at ARC, right? It's just you making the game, doing everything.
And then I found out a couple of days later from Jen. It was Rob. Rob did it.
Yeah. Well, thanks to Rob. I'm glad he was able to.
So if any of you guys want 1080 Ti's, you email Rob. I'll give you his personal email. Give me a second. It's like roberthoward@hotmail.com or something like that. That's not actually his email. Don't email that because that's for some random person.
Some random guy, and they're gonna get pissed. Okay, well let's end the show here. Jackal, I think we should probably cut the feed. Otherwise, me and Jet will sit here all day talking.
Yeah, that's intense. I did for you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks everyone for showing up again. We'll see you next week. See you Wednesday as well.